Hey, good morning, folks. You know, Jim Hinckley's America is a shared adventure, and I always ask for input. Sometimes that's like opening a can of worms, but one of the suggestions that's come up a lot lately is that rather than scheduled and structured programs, every once in a while we just need to do an informal sit and visit. I've done a bit of that here and there, and as the schedule allows, and a bunch of thoughts get into my head. Well, this morning I was out here just about sunrise working in the garden, gathering up some tomatoes and squash and whatnot, and thought this would be a good morning to get you caught up on a few things. It's a couple of things of importance. It's the monsoon season out here in Kingman and in Arizona and the Southwest, and the Cindy and Tony up at Jackrabbit Trading Post near Joseph City. Their famous "Here It Is" sign, part of it blew down last night. I'll have details up on the Jim Hinckley's America Facebook page, and we'll put some stuff up about fundraising to get that sign replaced on the Route 66 Bicentennial Initiative group page. Speaking of the Route 66 Bicentennial group page, you know, folks, gosh darn it, we don't need to get upset so blasted easy. That group, the Route 66 Centennial Facebook group, was started about 10 years ago or so, and it was, the idea was to coordinate, talk about Route 66 Centennial projects, promotion, marketing, event development, things of that nature. And now that we're about halfway through the centennial year, I simply switched the name to the Bicentennial Initiative, because in my opinion, Centennial is the kickoff for the countdown to the Bicentennial. And I thought it'd be a good time, since we're getting all this Route 66 interest, media and otherwise, now would be a good time to start a discussion about the Bicentennial. And I think that's going to be a large part of what they're talking about this year at the Route 66 Miles of Possibility Conference in October back in Springfield, Illinois. Anyway, it wasn't real hate mail, but I got some people that were a little upset by that. Kind of puzzled over it. Lots of developments up and down Route 66. The Connect 66 folks, they've had a little bit of hit and miss, but I think the idea is good, and we'll see where they go with it. But speaking of the past and the present, that's a glimpse of future marketing on Route 66. And of course, we had a pioneer in that movement that's still moving forward, Marian Pavel, with the Route 66 navigation app. Just had a great visit with him and his son. We were talking about the Passport project, the app project. His second time he was on the road this year to try to make improvements to the app and keep it relevant. That's just one example of the Touch Media team's dedication to the Route 66 community. Oh, before I forget, I've been getting a lot of inquiries about the official Coffee with Jim mug. If you're in Kingman, Arizona, these are available down at Calico's restaurant. Also a great place to eat. 1 block off Route 66. It's a 4-generation cafe. Top-notch food, great service, good folk. They have a whole Jim Hinckley corner down there. Signed books. I go down about every week and sign books. And, of course, they're official sponsors and take care of us there. You can also find the mugs on the Kingman Tours website, www.kingman.tours. This was a project I was really honored to be a part of a couple years ago. It was put together by Kingman Main Street and Talisman Magic Marketing, and they worked a little bit with the city of Kingman and the Historic Route 66 Association of Arizona to create a narrated, self-guided historic district walking tour that introduces people to historic sites, colorful characters, Hollywood film celebrity associated sites, and the stories behind public art. Got a bunch of public art in Kingman. Well, anyhow, the website has a great Route 66 Centennial gift shop, shipping anywhere in the world, and it includes Coffee with Jim mugs. The website is also, I might add, a great travel planning portal because it has an Yodel AI-powered event calendar and a great flip guide about area attractions, restaurants, diners. There's a blog. I was really honored to provide most of the research and the audio narration for this tour. So, a little bit of a little shameless self-promotion. The Kingman Tours Project, when you take a walking tour downtown Kingman, you're getting a walkabout with me. Get to listen to me beat my gums and tell some stories. Lots of interesting things happening on Route 66. I don't know where this is going to go in the future, but that's all up to us. Route 66, a long time ago, it ceased to be a highway. It became as Michael Wallace said, a linear community. Taking that a step further, it's kind of evolved into America's longest small town. Going back a bit to Kingman Tours, that was the subject of this past Sunday's Coffee with Jim, our live stream program on YouTube that a reviewer called a virtual diner, where fans of Route 66 road trips and the American story gather on Sunday morning. Kingman, Route 66 folks know it through the song Getting Your Kicks on Route 66. But even in the song, Kingman is thought of as a stop on the way to somewhere else. But Kingman needs to be considered more of a destination city. We've got folks like Tim and Lenore taking it and transforming an entire block along Route 66 with Tin Can Alley and scoops on 66 and mud on 66. The renovation of the Beale Street Theater, the renovation of the Beale Street Corridor, and then miles and miles of great mountain biking, hiking trail systems. If you're just traveling through, check out the scenic overlook and trailhead at the end of 4th Street behind the Mojave County Courthouse. That'll give you a great idea of why Kingman needs to be a destination city. Anyway, that was the subject of the Sunday morning Coffee with Jim program. As some of you may know, and if you're followers, you've heard me whine about this a bunch, Podbean discontinued the live stream option, and that kind of threw us into a tizzy. So, after trial and error and a few other things, we think we got a handle on this, and we decided, instead of crying over spilled beer, that we would see this as an opportunity to expand the Jim Hinckley's American Network. So we set up a Substack account kind of as a hub. This past weekend, we also introduced a new series. We're going to be doing a live stream program on Substack. This last week, we did a program using PowerPoint of Era of Innovation, bathtubs, bird cages, and Buick, highlighting some of the fascinating people and stories from the infancy of the American auto industry. David Buick, Florence Lawrence, and the role of bicycles, manure, in the establishment of the auto industry. So check that out. And Coffee with Jim is now on the live stream program is Sunday morning, 7 o'clock Arizona time on the Jim Hinckley's America YouTube channel. Meanwhile, back on Podbean, since we don't have the live stream option, Coffee with Jim on Podbean is recorded programs. And so now we have really two opportunities to give authors, event organizers, community developers a platform, promotional platform. If you can't be a guest on our live stream program Sunday morning at 7 o'clock, then we can record a program and I'll get it up on our Podbean channel. I'm posting every Friday on Podbean. So those are a few updates from Jim Hinckley's America. And as always, even though it's a can of worms that I'm opening, I sure like hearing your ideas, thoughts, and suggestions. One reason we're sitting here this morning chewing the fat is like say if suggestions that we just have an informal visit and chat once in a while. So we'll kind of bring up to speed. Like say I was out this morning working in the garden, got us a nice bowl of, got a pretty good harvest of tomatoes coming in and some sweet peppers, a few other things. It's always good. You know, it's great therapy. Kind of off topic, but you know, I'd sure like to encourage everybody, even if you live in an apartment and you have just a patio, you can grow little things like tomatoes and odds and ends, and there's a certain satisfaction that comes from growing your own stuff, and there's a therapy in it. And even better, like where I'm at here now, my neighbor, she plants quite a garden and she shares her produce. She just gave us a great jar of fresh garlic pickles that she made. You know, and that's one of the things that really irritates me today. And that's another reason I get out in the garden. There seems to be a big push to kind of create division, and it doesn't need to be that way. Our neighbors aren't our problems. They're the folks who are going to be there if there's an emergency or a problem. Our neighbors are the folks we've got to depend on and work with. We may not agree with them on things, and we may not have the same ideas, but we can sure figure out how to live together and help each other. And that's why another reason why I encourage road trips through Jim Hinckley's America. We joke about this, that Jim Hinckley's America is about sharing America's story and telling people where to go. But the idea is to encourage road trips, to get people out to discover America through road trips. Discover what makes this country really unique and special. The people. Yes, sir, Bob. That's what makes this country great and special. It's the people. Turn off the news for a bit. Get out there on the road. Discover America. You can't beat a good road trip. And the best road trip is on Route 66. Next, we're going to turn our attention to the Jim Hinckley's America website. I got some ideas on some improvements, some things I want to do there. I've scheduled upcoming events. Some people ask me about appearances, make it a little easier. A little bit more of the travel experience, travel guides, recommendations. We've got a few new ones to add to the list. We haven't done anything with our TripAdvisor account for a while. We need to get that going again. And sharing updates on there as well as the Jim Hinckley's America website, recommendations. I mentioned this previously in a blog post, but we made a great discovery on this last trip to Tulsa. And that's Stroud, Oklahoma. Man, we found two gyms there. The Skyliner Motel, fantastic, clean, decent, basic, nice place to stay. And right around the corner, it had just opened when we got there, was Uncle Pepe's, first-rate Mexican food. Yeah, that was great. That's one of the things we want to do too, is get the reviews up and going. And as many of you know, we try to answer all questions about Route 66 travel and books, recommendations, things of that nature. So drop us a note through social media, Facebook, Instagram, Jim Hinckley's America website, Jim Hinckley's America page, the YouTube channel. And we do ask, it'd be kind of nice, become a subscriber, become a follower. Like Route 66, Jim Hinckley's America is a community, a network of cooperative partnerships, a network of folks that are passionate about road trips. So your support means a lot to us. Speaking of support, I want to give a shout out and say thank you to our listeners and followers and fans that support us through Patreon. It makes some of our programs we don't want to charge for, and some of our programs we can't develop without resources. So listener support through Patreon makes those possible. And of course, I'd be remiss if I didn't give a shout out to some of the other folks that share our passion for road trips and the American story, and that help make what we do possible. The amazing Vicki Ashcraft at the Enchanted Trails Trading Post and RV Park. Vicki is just wonderful. She's one of those folks that she's never out seeking the spotlight or attention, but for more than a dozen years, she has been made amazing contributions to the Route 66 community. Initially through the Route 66 Association of New Mexico. Before that was broken, I guess you'd say, by some folks that decided to create a competing organization for whatever reason. But then she picked up the pieces and created worked with the Route 66 New Mexico Alliance, New Mexico Route 66 Alliance, excuse me. And contributions have just been long and many. The Enchanted Trails Trading Post is kind of unique. It is a 1940s trading post, but it's also now the gift shop, the laundry, and everything for the RV park. This is a fully modern RV park at the top of 9 Mile Hill, just to the west of Albuquerque. You don't have to have an RV to really appreciate Enchanted Trails. Not only does she have the old trading post, she's got a great display of vintage travel trailers and some vintage Hudson automobiles. Makes it real worthwhile. And Dina Nelson, she's a great sponsor of ours, the State Farm Insurance here in Kingman, Arizona. She is a local hometown hero. I've lost count of how many projects, and how many things that she's contributed to this community and helps support us. David Brenner over at the Roadrunner Lodge in Tucumcari. The Roadrunner Lodge is a real gem. Tucumcari is full of gems and treasures. It's a bit war at the heel, but that town has some passionate people like Connie Loveland and David Brenner. And if you've got passionate, ambitious people with vision and tenacity, things will happen. You will build a sense of community. But David Brenner's always got something going, but the Roadrunner Lodge, boy, that thing is nice. That is really, really special, and something I can highly, highly recommend for folks. People ask me a lot about travel. When I mentioned Connect 66 and the Route 66 navigation app, Jerry McClanahan's Easy 66 guide. That's very, very important for any Route 66 traveler. But I got a couple companies I can highly recommend if you want to take the worry out of a Route 66 trip, or if you're looking for just a great road trip adventure with no worries. Stephen and Chantel with Route Trip USA, they create bespoke holiday travel packages in the United States and Canada. Very reputable. I highly recommend those folks. You can't go wrong with Austin Coop of Tulane, America. First-rate tours in the Auto Museums, Southern Michigan, Fall Colors, New Zealand, Route 66. My good friend Sam Murray with Gilligan's Route 66 tours. He has a caravan option or a incredible self-drive option. That self-drive option is as close as you're going to get to taking a Route 66 trip on your schedule with your own private tour guide. He also offers a great Mississippi River tour. Well, I've been beating my gums for a bit. It's starting to rain. My garden's going to like that. I'm going to like that. So, with that said, I'm going to bid you guys adios. I'll send you off with a little bit of road trip inspiring music from Joe and Woody and my good friends there at Road Crew 66 out of Nashville. Check out their music for your own theme song or some road trip inspiration at roadcrew66.com. Hey, again, become a subscriber, become a follower, check out what we're doing, chime in, give us a little input. Just be respectful. That's all I ask. I can take constructive criticism, but I also like to hear a little praise once in a while. And, well, we'll see you on the road. Or we'll see you Sunday morning for our live stream program on the Jim Hinckley's America YouTube channel. And if you want to be a guest on our programs, drop me a note. My friends, adios, amigos.
Say hello to a new friend on an old road. Take a 2-lane trip of memories into mysteries unknown. come along for the ride. Jim Hinckley's America. Jim Hinckley's America.